As this year comes to an end, we bring you a roundup of the most significant Supreme Court judgments of 2024, which are poised to shape India's legal and social landscape. In a landmark ruling on 1st August 2024, the Supreme Court allowed state governments to create subclassifications within the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes categories to address disparities and ensure fairer distribution of benefits. Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud emphasized the need to address varying levels of discrimination while clarifying that subclassification was not mandatory. The decision sparked a political debate attracting both support and criticism.
बाबा साहब ने जो संविधान बनाया उसमें क्रीमी लेयर की कोई बात नहीं है। हम बाबा साहब के संविधान को ही मानेंगे और बाबा साहब ने संविधान में जो अनुसूचित जातियां और जनजातियों का आरक्षण किया है वो ही हम आरक्षण की व्यवस्था जारी रखें। उनकी टिप्पणी थी तो उसको वो भ्रम फैला रहे हैं कि क्रीमी लेयर वाली बात जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कह दी है, सरकार कुछ नहीं कर रही है, ये भ्रम फैला रहे थे। तो डायरेक्शन में और ऑब्जर्वेशन में फर्क होता है, डिसीजन में और ऑब्जर्वेशन में भी फर्क होता है। उनकी टिप्पणी थी।
In another crucial judgment, the Supreme Court reinforced the sanctity of private property. In the case of Owners Association versus State of Maharashtra, the Apex Court ruled that the government cannot seize private properties by labeling them as community resources. This landmark ruling upholds individual property rights and protects citizens against arbitrary state actions, a win for property owners across the nation. The court put up strict conditions for governments to acquire private properties.
39B and C said that the ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as best to subserve the common good. So I may have some wealth, you may have some wealth, but that is your personal wealth. There can be times where that wealth may need to be accessed or redistributed to better serve society. In times of war, for instance, it may be that everybody will have to contribute. So if Parliament were to bring out a law, its validity would possibly be protected by reference to the directive principles of state policy.
In a relief to religious and linguistic minorities, Supreme Court's judgment on minority educational institutions said that the minority status of an educational institution is not affected by statute, date of establishment, or non-minority individuals present in the administration of the institution. The court clarified that to qualify as a minority institution, it only needs to be established by a minority community, not necessarily administered by members of that community. This ruling ensures that minority institutions can maintain their status even if they are governed by non-minority members, emphasizing the importance of protecting the rights of religious and linguistic minorities under Article 30 of the Constitution.
Nothing could have been better than this for Aligarh Muslim University and for thousands of minority institutions in the country. We must remember that minority institutions are not just of the religious minorities. You have hundreds of linguistic minority institutions of Hindus. I have been writing that Hindus are also a religious minority in some union territories and in some northeastern states. Now the Supreme Court majority bench had said that we need to look at who was the person who conceived the original idea of establishing an institution, for what purpose that institution was to be established, how the funds were collected, who donated the land, and the mere fact that the legislature passed a law does not take away the right of a minority institution to have minority character.
Other landmark judgments of the Supreme Court include the upholding of the constitutional validity of Section 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955. This section grants citizenship to migrants of Indian origin who arrived in Assam between 1966 and 1971. The ruling strengthens the position of those who have long been a part of Assam's cultural fabric, securing their rights and ensuring social stability.
The purpose of the legislation was to recognize the Accord, the Assam Accord, which was after a protest that was caused due to migration and so on and so forth. And the court today has upheld the 6A provision that in effect made the law that follows the accord, that there would be a cut-off date of 1966. Anyone who entered India and is ordinarily resident before 66 would be a citizen. Someone who came between 66 and 71 would, with the qualifying elements, would after 10 years become a citizen, and those who came after 71 will not be citizens. So that's what the accord was in rough, and that's what was recognized in the legislation. That legislation has been upheld.
So what does it mean now? A lot of people are still hanging there.
No, it just means anyone who had come before 71, 10 years have passed, therefore that person also would be a citizen.
Among other important judgments given by the Supreme Court in 2024 included quashing of the Gujarat government's remission order for 11 convicts in the infamous Bilkis Bano gang rape case, underscoring the judiciary's authority to quash such orders. The court also invalidated the 2018 electoral bond scheme, ensuring transparency in political donations and enhancing free and fair elections. Responding to a series of bulldozer actions threatening the basic principles of natural justice, the Apex Court issued guidelines to curb illegal bulldozer demolitions, reinforcing fundamental rights, procedural fairness, and accountability in executive actions. These decisions collectively highlighted the court's role in upholding justice and democratic principles.
The Supreme Court has basically said that you cannot bulldoze people's properties just because they are accused of a crime. It has further laid down detailed directions as to how lawful demolitions are to be carried out. There may be cases of encroachments where demolitions are necessary, but even there you have to take all these precautions.
किसी पे भी इल्जाम लगा के घर तोड़ देते थे। अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिशा निर्देश पास किया है कि आपको नोटिस देना पड़ेगा, कम से कम 15 दिन का वक्त देना पड़ेगा, जो कंपाउंडेबल है प्रॉपर्टी का पार्ट उसे कंपाउंड किया जाएगा, और अधिकारियों पे एक जिम्मेदारी डाल दी गई कि अगर कोई अधिकारी गलती कर रहा है, कानून तोड़ रहा है इससे रिलेटेड, तो उनकी पर्सनल जिम्मेदारी होगी। अगर उन्होंने कोई प्रॉपर्टी डिमोलिश की है, इलीगली डिमोलिश की है, तो उसको रेस्टिट्यूट करने की, ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा प्रावधान बना दिया है कोर्ट ने।
The highlight of the judiciary in 2024 was the retirement of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud from the post of Chief Justice after serving a 2-year term. He will be remembered for several landmark judgments as well as for controversies surrounding his personality, where some legal luminaries accused him of being close and favorable to the government.